And then this was a question I was super excited about because I thought it was a fun thought exercise and one that you're probably a lot of you are being challenged with this year as you go into next year's budget. You might be being asked to cut a certain percentage of your budget. And we asked our companies to make the case. What would you keep? If you had to cut your budget, what would you keep? And across the top here, most said they would keep content, blogging, organic SEO at the top of their list. And many said that display advertising and direct mail, not making the cut. We're going to cut those out of our programs. And then again, similar here, and we'll, in the full report, we'll dive a little bit more heavily into this data. A few things bubble up earlier on as priorities. So email marketing, actually, so let's look here, pretty much up there with blogging content and organic SEO, with a lot of our earlier stage companies relying pretty heavily on that. And then for maybe some of the later stage companies, we see the field events, they're wanting to hang on to that, partner marketing, and things that probably are pretty cost effective, right? If you can borrow dollars with your partner, maybe you come in together, you can understand why those might stay up at the top of the list there. And then paid, also kind of showing up a little bit slower, and display advertising kind of and paid are two that kind of bundled together a little bit, and that we're going to show on this next chart, where we mapped how folks answered contribution to marketing opportunities. So what did you say is contributing to pipeline? And then what did you say you might prioritize keeping? And roughly, looking at this chart, a lot of folks said email not contributing a lot. You can't, not attributing a lot of pipeline to outbound email. And we saw quite a few folks saying, actually, I think it was our third largest source of pipeline contribution, folks saying paid is working pretty well for us. But look, email is super high on the list to keep, and I think the reasons for that are it's cheap, right? Well, I have a marketing automation platform anyway, and we don't have to spend. It's our own database. It's our own list, so let's just blast a bunch of emails if our budget's cut. But is that really where we should be spending our time and our efforts? And maybe we should be making the case to figure out creatively how can we continue to build that top of funnel awareness with retaining our paid advertising budget and finding other ways to get creative. And maybe we should challenge ourselves to deprioritize outbound email and not just throw more and more and more at our database if it's not actually going to move the needle for us.